My final question is always some variation. If there was one bit of wisdom or multiple bits of wisdom that you could go back and give to yourself at the start of your writing journey that maybe would make things easier for all the authors and writers listening now, what would you go back and tell yourself? And Lillie, we'll start with you for this one.
Well, if you've taken the time to learn your craft, learn your skills, taking classes that you need, the only thing you have left is not to be afraid. Don't let the fear take over. You write and write and write, and even if nobody likes it, if you like it, write. Don't let others dictate what you can and cannot write or what you can and cannot achieve. And that would be my advice to myself.
And where can esteemed audience find you online again?
I'm sorry?
What's your website? Where can we find you online to learn more about your books?
Oh, the books can be found on grandmothersinc.com. We also are on Facebook and website barnettevans.com and also cvrhodes.com. That's my writing partner. I'm sorry, I think her website is crystalrhodes.com.
And Tony, same question to you. What advice would you go back and give yourself? And also, please give your websites and things where we could find you.
Sure. Thank you, Robin. And before we sign off, I do want to say thank you very much for hosting us on this podcast. It's been a delight, and I wish you the continued success with it. I think that I would tell myself, don't swing for the fences. Be satisfied with hitting singles. You get on base more. I watched a number of people who just, they were determined to put out a book a year, and that's what they did. And I spent a lot of time trying to fashion a book that I thought would, was like the bestsellers that I was reading and all this kind of stuff. And I spent way too much time on that kind of stuff instead of just trying to put out a good book every year. And I've seen that the people who did that were way more successful than I ever have been and should be. And so that's the advice I'd give myself is, just enjoy what you're writing and get it out, and don't spend a lot of time trying to swing for the fences.
Where can we find you?
Find me, since I write pretty much with my daughter now, our website is www.elizabethperona.com.
And Cheryl?
Mine is similar. Kind of believe in yourself, follow your inner voice. The problem with fiction writing, I think, is it's wide open to you. You can create whatever you want, but it's so subjective, and there's so many voices out there telling you it has to be like this, you have to be like this, or it won't sell if it's like that. I think you just have to trust your inner voice and go with it. And, like Lillie said, you have to master the craft and learn how to write those writing skills. But once you have that down, trust your inner voice. That's what's going to make you, as a writer, unique.
And where can the esteemed audience find you online?
My website is clshoreonline.com. And I also have a Facebook page, CL Shore Author /mystery.
And Janet, please bring us home.
Well, I don't have a webpage, but you can find me on Facebook. But there are about 5 million Janet Williams on Facebook, so don't mix me up with Janet Williams, the Tennessee Tramp. No.
There's a short story there.
There really is. Maybe. Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. But anyhow, so what was the question again?
I don't know, but I think we
advice to my younger self.
So technically, and back me up, because that inspiration occurred on my podcast, when you write the story, I'm in the acknowledgments. I feel that's.
I think you could be a character.
My question was, what advice would you go back and give yourself that would maybe make your writing career easier?
It's a variation of what Lillie said. I mean, you've always got to be working on your craft. I mean, you're always learning. You're always trying something new. You're always trying to stretch yourself as a writer. But I think the big thing to my younger self, I would say, don't be afraid to fail. To me, it was always so devastating if somebody gave me like a negative criticism of my creative writing. Now, I could, my journalism, fine. I mean, that I almost had like two lives here. I knew turning in a story as a journalist, there's going to be an editor asking me questions about it. And I, and maybe reworking it. But, that creative part, comes from so deep in your soul that you're afraid when you put yourself out there that you're going to get a kick in the gut. And you know what? Sometimes you fail. Sometimes it's not that good. Sometimes you just can't be afraid of that. And in failing, you actually can learn to be better. You can learn what you did wrong and what doesn't work. I look back on some stuff that I wrote, years ago, even a couple of years ago, and think, yeah, I think I'm a better writer now, and I would do this a little bit differently today. But just don't be afraid to fail. Just put yourself out there and especially, write to entertain yourself. I really like that line. I think that was a really good line. I'm going to start writing. I'm going to think of my short stories as writing to entertain me.
Speed City Sisters in Crime, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much to each of you for making the time this evening and putting up with our technical issues so that we could have this wonderful conversation. As always, esteemed audience, head to middlegradeninja.com to follow up on every episode of the podcast that's been released thus far, find out who is going to be coming up in future shows, read hundreds of interviews with authors, literary agents, publishing professionals, folks you'd be interested in. Download your free copy of Banneker Bones and the Giant Robot Bees. Happy 4th of July, or happy whatever day it is you happen to be listening or watching this. And God willing and I'm alive, I'll see you next week.